Good morning and welcome to John Beck. This is your principal, Mr. Lin, and I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. Today is Monday, December 19th, 2022, and it is a day A for instrumentals. It is a day one. Now, before we kick off this wonderful day, I want to invite you, as I always do, to please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Go ahead and take a seat. I'm so happy that you're here with us. I know this is this last week, right? The beginning of this last week as we push into the winter holiday. And then after this week, we won't see each other until, as I like to joke, until next year, 2023. But that also brings me to thinking about this fact. We won't ever have 2022 again. We won't have this week, this year again. This is our last chance to make this year count, right? And I think that's pretty important, especially later on when I talk about respect and responsibility and readiness, especially when I talk about love, care, and encouragement, all right? But before we get started, let's go over what our lunch menu is like today. We have 4 choices, as always. Your first choice, the hot meal, is the pizza cheese crunchers. Choice 2 is the Chef Junior salad. Choice 3 for kindergarten through 2nd grade is the turkey sandwich meal. And then for 3rd through 6th grade, it's the turkey sandwich. Last but not least, choice 4 is the Sunburst sandwich. So make sure to make your choice. Of course, if you are a packer, you are good to go. All right, let's go over our 3 expectations. You already know what they are. Number 1, be respectful. Number 2, be responsible. And number 3, show that you are ready to learn. And so many of you guys are doing an awesome job, especially in school. Last week, I happened to be standing in the hallways. I was trying to see just how many of the kids were listening to my message and giving me the respect of actually walking in the hallways. And if you are in breakfast, going down towards the lobby by the main office and going down that hallway to go back to your classroom after breakfast. And then for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, going straight towards the art room and winding your way back to your classes there. I wanted to see if you guys truly were listening to me and following the directions and giving me the respect, because you know that I'm coming up with these rules not because I want to be powerful with my power, but because I care about you. I want you to be safe. I want us to be able to get back to our classes so your teachers can also continue to give you that love, care, and encouragement. And so many of you guys are doing the right thing. That's my point. Thank you. Okay, and that I felt respected right there. And I hope that kids, that when you talk to your teachers, when you talk to me, when you talk to your classmates, that you also feel that same kind of respect. Same thing with responsibility, right? This is that classic case, being responsible, where we have to realize the things that we can control, we can do it for good or for bad, right? Our hands, our feet, the words that come out of our mouths, even the things that we think, we can have control over that. We can choose to use them in harmful and hurtful ways, and sometimes we can get away with it. I already tell you that. You don't have to play that game. I know that there are times you can get away with it. The question is it the right thing to do? And if it isn't, then I suggest that we choose the alternative, doing the right thing even when nobody else is looking. And you know what? There are times when I know that you boys and girls don't think anybody is watching, and I'm actually really impressed with you. Some of you guys are doing the right things. Right? If I happen to look at the camera, if I happen to look at the camera on the bus, so many of you are doing the right thing. So thank you so much. Now, speaking of the bus though, I happen to also catch kids who aren't doing the right thing. Now, boys and girls, once again, we've got this week left for 2022. Make it count. Do it right. Be real, right? Don't pretend to be one person in front of your teachers or in front of your bus drivers or in front of me. Actually be real. Be yourself. Be the best version of yourself, right? There are a couple of our 6th graders, especially some of our boys lately, who a few weeks ago had been called out for a few things. I'm not going to go into details. It's not my job to embarrass anybody. My point being that I respect them as men right now because so many of them are making the choice to do the right thing even when nobody else is looking. And I respect that. And if you know who you're talking about, if I'm talking to you, just know that I am giving you that respect. That's awesome. And finally, show that you're ready to learn, ready to do the hard, right? This week is going to be hard. And it may not be because of learning, and it could be, right? It could be still that reading is hard or math is hard, but it's going to be hard containing our excitement and our energy, right? We know that the winter break is coming up. If we happen to celebrate Christmas, hey, that's coming up. We're going to be giddy. If we celebrate some other holiday like Hanukkah, we might get really excited. Maybe we don't celebrate any of these winter holidays. Guess what? You might be excited just because it's a change of pace. You don't have to come to school for a few days. And you know what? All of that energy can add up. And we have to find a way to rein it in. We have to find a way to control ourselves and still make our experience here at John Beck awesome. Okay? Channel your energy into something like Operation Warm a Child. Have you been by that Christmas tree in our lobby? I mean, we are collecting some mad amounts of stuff. That's amazing. Same thing for the Warming the Streets of Lancaster. Levi's been really impressed, our 6th grade friend who's helping to organize all this. He's really impressed with it. Guys, we only have a few days left. If you want to bring something in, bring it in. You got only a few days, all right? Okay, we don't have any special announcements today, but as we think about winter, I want to share something about this day in history. Back in 1777, only a few months removed, or I should say a year and a half removed from our Declaration of Independence, George Washington and the Continental Army fighting the British to win our freedom, to become the United States of America. And frankly, the beginning of the war wasn't so hot for us Americans. We were up against the most powerful army and navy at the time, and that was the British Empire. And we belonged to the British Empire. We were trying to break away. We wanted to be our own country. And after the first few battles, the American generals were taking a beating. And no other general than George Washington himself. He was taking a beating. In fact, there were a lot of people who were questioning whether or not he was even fit to be the leader of the American army. And back then, it just is really hard to fight in the snow, though the technology for weapons and movement of soldiers just wasn't great. So oftentimes, even in the middle of war, around winter time, a lot of armies will settle in for the winter. They'll have some small fights here and there, but most of your big battles don't happen until the weather gets better. And George Washington found a place in Pennsylvania, not that far away from here, called Valley Forge, where he settled in. And the problem was that they only had tents, and the soldiers didn't have the warmest of coats. So many of our American soldiers died just camping in the winter. But it's a testament to the leadership of George Washington that he was still able to keep the troops together. That so many of them didn't decide to say, you know what, enough of this, I am going home. He found a way to keep the American soldiers geared up and ready for the fight whenever it came later on into the late winter, into the spring. In fact, he even brought in a guy from Germany, Baron von Steuben, who's came and he was a professional soldier, and he looked at George Washington's soldiers like, no wonder you guys have been losing. You guys don't really know how to fight. You guys don't really know how to move in the way soldiers and armies would move in a cohesive manner to intimidate and beat the British. So even in the middle of winter at Valley Forge, George Washington's men trained. A lot of them were freezing to death. A lot of them didn't have much food, but a lot of them trained. They kept training with Baron von Steuben. George Washington brought him in, and all I can say is that it showed, because that was a turning point. Later on, you'll find out, Battle of Trenton, moving on into the rest of the war, that George Washington's army came out of that really hard winter stronger than ever, which is amazing. And I think that's really impressive, and I really want you guys to think about it. When we talk about being ready, going through the hard, because eventually it will pay off. George Washington's army left Valley Forge ready to fight, and they did put up a fight. And as we all know, the rest is history. They did pull off the win, and they did end up helping to create the United States of America. All right, listen, if nobody has told you this, I want you to hear this from me. I love you. I care about you. I'm here to encourage you, and I want you to go share that, not just with words, but with action. What does love look like? Show it. What does care look like? Show it. What does encouragement look like? Show it. in everything you do. Let's make this week count. We only have about a few days left in 2022. All right? Can't wait to see you guys around. Have an amazing day.